Welcome back to the Got Her Back podcast.
What's that?
What did your shirt say today?
Dope chick, fresh kicks, lipstick.
What does yours say, Maria? Tell us about your shirt.
Sorry doesn't always work. Maya actually said this to Trent a few months ago. We were in the car and Trent apologized for something, and Maya was like, Dad, sorry doesn't always work. And he was like, I actually like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to put that
true.
on a shirt. And Maya was like, yes, and tell the people that it was my idea.
Tell the people.
Yeah,
Tell
girl.
the people, Dad.
Yeah.
That is so true, though. Sorry doesn't always work.
Yeah.
You should have threw that in there on our quotes. That was a really, really good
I know,
one.
I know.
Really, really good one.
I know. Can you imagine just how many times you've actually said sorry? Not even other people to, like you personally have apologized for something and you notice that like, I'm not really that sorry.
No, I haven't, actually. Actually, I don't have that problem.
Come on. I know you probably apologized for something that you were never
Girl,
sorry
it's so hard for me to say I'm sorry.
Really? I say sorry all the time.
It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. Like,
But I think it's because I don't see that about you, but I'm thinking
internally, I'm just being honest.
I know, but I guess we've never got into it. So you've not ever had to not had to say you're sorry, but it's never come up because we're perfect and we are never
I don't
argue.
ever really have to do that in my friendships. But I have relationship, where I'm like,
I guess I'm just
it's so hard for me, in a relationship, in a personal relationship, to say I'm sorry. Because I'm like, I don't feel like I,
No, that was 5, girl.
Is it 5?
That's an F-bomb.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Should I get prepared and put a 10 down?
Yeah, probably so. I have to apologize quite frequently. My mouth tends to get me in trouble. Who would guess? But
yeah.
I think I say sorry too much. And Trent actually called me out. He was like, Maria, stop saying you're sorry.
But that is a sign of trauma. So when you've,
I used to
remember the dinosaur arms.
Yes.
I thought about that the
yeah,
other
I
night.
think about it all the time. Do you guys? We've talked about this before, but if you sleep like this, because we've talked about it, it's a sign of trauma. So if you sleep like this, because we all 3 do, it's a sign of trauma. And if you say you're sorry all the time, I catch myself saying I'm sorry way too much. I
used to say it oh sorry, oh sorry,
Yeah.
oh sorry,
Yeah.
all the time, and I really had to
Or even
reel
going
it in.
grocery shopping. If I think I'm in the way, but really I'm not, I'll say, oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. You just say, excuse me.
I know, but one time my sister was like, we were at Central Market, and my sister was like, stop saying sorry. You're fine. I was like, I'm just saying. She was like, you have every right to be on this side. People can go around.
Don't be a people pleaser, Maria.
I am.
Are you a people pleaser?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a people pleaser, but
Who in this group would be the most people pleaser?
Y'all would be surprised. No, you'd be surprised.
You?
Oh yeah, especially in my career, I'm a people pleaser. Yeah, me.
I just knew y'all were gonna say me.
No, well, you are on a day-to-day
so
basis.
sweet. I think it's 'cause you're so
I
sweet.
think that's a known. But I think you would be surprised. I'm a people pleaser.
That
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Now that I'm thinking about it, but my knee jerk was surprised me. But now that I'm like, no.
Do you have a question for us before we get on
Yeah,
to our
one.
topic?
Jeanette asked us, what is the one thing you know today, but you wish you knew when you were first starting your career? I can take it.
Yeah.
Let's go, Meg.
Okay. I think that I would probably for sure. I was 27 when I started my business, and I just was we've probably talked about it in the past, or I probably said it, I was so naive that I just, I didn't even know what I was getting myself into, right? And so I think even I would tell my younger self, and I would tell my younger self starting my career, always bet on myself and never to give up on myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even though I doubt myself, which people may not even think that, but yes, the inner voices can get to me am I a good boss? Am I a good leader? I forget to stop, especially even at this point, because it's almost like I've started my career over again. It's a different time in my career, but I'm growing essentially 3 businesses underneath one umbrella. So it's almost like I've started all over again, and I'm having some of the same feelings and the same
insecurities.
trials, right, as I did when I was 27 and starting out and didn't know what the flip I was doing, So
Flip.
yeah, you like
With
that?
the flip.
Should I take that 10 and put it back?
We need to give her
Sure,
change.
go ahead, give me change.
Never heard her say
I
flip.
have some hope for you, Meg.
Yeah, I'm trying to help y'all today. But I think that would be it. Like, never give up on myself. You know what I mean? Like, as strong as people think that I am, I'm not. I'm really like just a damaged little girl. And
No, you're not.
No, yeah.
No, you're not.
I am like, and that is the little girl in me. Probably like the person that lashes out, the person that creates the barrier, the person that has the fence up, the person that doesn't really want to let people in, but is an open book. Like, people probably like question like, how are you an open book? But then you're closed off. And so I think people don't realize, because maybe I was an open book with them, but then the next person to them. And I don't want to sound like arrogant, because I'm not. I'm super humble, but there are people I'm super closed off to. And there are people I'm not open with. And so if I've been open with you, if that's in my career or on my social media, because you are part, even though if it was indirectly, like, there was a reason, you know what I mean? And so I won't say that you're the chosen ones, but in my mind,
Like, feel privileged.
no, I mean, that's being arrogant, but I would say, like, there's a reason, like, whatever that reason was for me, maybe you made me feel comfortable or whatever it was, but yeah, just never give up but always bet on yourself.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Sweet. And know you're not damaged.
I am.
Or broken.
I am, and that's okay. I can thoroughly admit that, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm a work in progress still. But
we all are. Everybody is.
yeah,
But
the best is yet to be.
Oh, I love that. So what are we talking about today?
Oh, people pleasers.
Oh, people
how
pleasing.
many people are we pleasing today?
I feel like it's such a woman thing. Not always, but I think
Yeah.
a lot of women are people pleasers.
I feel like if you don't admit that you're a people pleaser, I think you're lying. I think you are. I feel like
there's some people that aren't people pleasers, girl.
there's
I don't
plenty
know,
of
but there's
people
just
that are-
something. There's people. It's not like everybody. You don't want to please everybody.
Some people want to please everybody.
Yeah, but
There's levels.
I'm gonna take y'all deep today. Like,
Oh,
yeah, we're gonna go
Deep,
deep.
deep.
Because I think it's like, we talked about this earlier. Like, Carrie, we know you're a 5 on the Enneagram. I'm a clear 8. And I always tell you, like, for 10 years straight, I've always like, let my 8 speak for your 5, because you're always thinking what I'm thinking. You just won't voice it. But
I
lately,
just let you voice it
that's
for
right.
me.
You just let me look like the crazy person,
It's worked well.
It is what it is. And
That's
so
y'all's
I tell her all the
friendship.
time, like, let my 8 speak for your 5. But I think people pleasing, well, for me, and I think for you, it's like, it's part of your personality, right? Like, it's just like, you don't like conflict. And so you'd rather just be quiet. This is my outside perspective. Now you can let us know if I'm right or not. Or
I'll let you read me first, and then
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
tell
going to
you.
read you. I'm going to read the room.
Okay.
But before I read myself, but I think that you are a people pleaser. Goodness, how do I say this correctly?
Say it however you want.
no
I'm not
judgment.
sensitive.
No, but like, I think that you're a people pleaser because of situations that you've been in throughout your life. And part of it is your
Correct.
personality, and part of it is like the trauma that you've been through. Like, you'd
Correct.
rather just not see, like, you'd just rather be like,
Avoid conflict.
right. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Because you would like, it's like, I couldn't even look in your face when I was saying it. Girl, what? No, it's not because I'm scared you're getting mad. It's just like, I know, like, we're too close,
Yeah.
I think. And it's like, I know. And so I'm like, I'm trying to, like, I don't want to say too much, but then I can't say too little, because then people wouldn't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what my inner struggle is. But I don't think, this is what I want you to know. I don't think being a people pleaser is a problem. And I think that sometimes that there's a negative connotation when it comes to people pleasing. And I don't think that if you've been through some stuff in your life and you're a people pleaser because of that, and it's just the easier road or less traveled road, you know what I mean? Like, it's easier than to deal with the conflict head on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because
Yeah.
sometimes I wish I could be more like that, is what I want to say to you, because I don't want you to think it's like a negative, like, oh, I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not going to hurt my feelings because I know this. You read me very well.
Yeah.
It's like a curse and and a blessing at the same time. So I tell myself all the time, like, I feel like each year I get like hardened a little bit more, but also I don't want to completely change who I am. Let it change who I am, because I am who I am. But also I am that way, like you said, because I grew up in the environment that I grew up in. Right. So for me, it was always like a fight or flight, a survival. I never felt safe. I always felt in danger, like literally like my whole life. And so I feel like if I was in anything outside of my home, because my home was so like unstable and unsafe, that anywhere else, like I just couldn't even handle the thought of anything else on me. So I just like avoid it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Also, there was a lot of abuse. And so just watching abuse, like watching all the abuse that I've watched in my life, I was scared. So I didn't want the abuse to come my way. So I would just kind of like fly under the radar. Like maybe if I don't say anything, they won't notice me. And so that was like how I grew up my life. And I'm a middle child. So I just always just kind of, you know what I mean?
I would tell you, and I want to be like, I know we've said it a million times over, but I want to tell you, and I want to tell myself too, and speaking to myself, like, I'm proud of both of us, like, because I feel like we hadn't broke the cycle of our childhoods up until the last year. Yeah. Right. And so like, it's a fresh start for both of us. Yeah. And so that is like, I think people will be surprised if I said like, I'm a people pleaser. It's like, it's the same thing when I tell people I'm an extroverted introvert, because they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, you don't live inside my body. I really am. But I'm a people pleaser at work. And so it's like,
I'm a people pleaser at work.
Yeah.
And I don't put myself in a bossy, like,
oh, I put myself in a bossy.
I don't want anybody to think I'm being bossy or bossing them around. I don't know if I put like a negative on that. So it's like, I'm like, do you mind? I catch myself doing things or don't worry, I'll just do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or things like that. So it's just, that part is just my personality. And then I have the, like you said, environmental and the way I grew up and all that. And so it's been really interesting in a new relationship, now where I'm catching myself like, no, say something, because they can't read your mind and don't, do that. And so the thing that I'm mostly grateful for right now is I can say something and be super honest with Gabriel. And then I love that I get a genuine, like, look me in the eyes, conversation back. I hear you, like those, like I'm super like thankful for, because I've never like had those in, growing up, being gaslighted, like, all this stuff for years and years and years and years. Like for someone to just look at you and say, I hear you. I want you to know that I heard you loud and clear, and this is, and then we can have a conversation with it. So the more that those conversations are happening, the more that I'm okay with speaking up and speaking my mind and telling them, how I feel in business and friendships and, anyway. Yeah. So I think the more that you practice it, like the easier it becomes, and you realize how much easier life can be if you're just like honest about how you feel.
Miss Maria Shelton.
Yeah, yes. Miss People Pleaser.
Are you a people pleaser?
Would you consider yourself a people pleaser?
Okay.
I think you're really good with saying no and boundaries.
I do have my boundaries. There's things that, like I would and wouldn't do. Like I'm really but my thing that I feel like I've struggled with ever since I was younger, we moved around a lot. Yeah. So bouncing from one school to the other, meeting new people, I didn't really know who I truly was until I became like an adult, pretty much, because I was a chameleon. Yeah. I gravitated to whoever I became friends with in all these schools. Like I could be this person, I could be that person. And I wouldn't say that was I personally think it's helped me grow. I could mesh with any type of people. But during that time, I never really spoke for myself either, you know, like peer pressure, especially at a young age. But I feel like as I've gotten older and a lot more experienced and wiser, there are things that I will and will not do.
Yeah.
The sad thing is I wouldn't say sad. I am on social media. So it's always people say, hey, you should do this, you should do that, you know, and I want to give back to my audience. I want to show more of my family. I want to show, but it's just kind of like, do I really want to do all that, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of trying to figure out.
You just have to figure out what feels best for you.
Yeah.
And then stick with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes privacy is best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love being like more private. Like I think that it gives you something that's just y'all's. You know what I mean? And it's special. So.
And then even with my kids, oh my God, I will go above. I'm pretty sure you guys are all the same way with your kids. I will go above and beyond.
I would say you're like
to please my children.
You have us beat on that. I'm like, because I'm not like with my kids. I'm tough love. The other day at the store, I was about to kick Spencer's butt. I'll just say butt because it's Spencer. And she was like, I want this. I
trying
want
to
that.
hold on
and
to
I was
those.
like, nope. Like,
no,
no,
that's me.
You have a sucker. You have a sucker in your mouth, and no, like we don't need that, and we don't have to get something every time we come to the store. So it's like there are times that I have to like.
Megan is saying no.
Oh yeah, there are times where
person
I'm
who got
not
mad
a
at me
piece
from
of.
buying an American Girl doll.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a special day. And so, I mean, there are moments where I'm like, oh, just whatever. But there are moments where I'm like, no, you're not going to get every single thing that you want in life. That's not how life works.
It's not how life works.
No.
Yeah.
And it's also a lesson for the kids because they're so used to getting everything that they want. And when they hear the word no or when they don't get, it's kind of like,
What?
wait, what?
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like we also, doing that, pleasing our children, it's also a way for us to make up for what we didn't have.
That's why it's
Yeah.
a fine line there because you
Yeah.
want to show them a better life than you had, but you also don't want to create entitlement.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's such a hard balance
Tristan,
for me.
Trent gets on me all the time because Tristan knows that when it's me that's picking him up, I will always be early or on time. And so if I'm not there on time, he'll call me right away. But now he knows he can track me, so it's easier. But when Trent tells Tristan, do not call me unless I am 10 minutes late because you're going to have to learn how to wait sometimes. Like, it can't always be on your time. But I'm like, but I don't want him to be late. What if somebody kidnaps him?
Nobody kidnapping him, girl.
yeah, they give him right back.
No, that's what Trent was like. Trent was like, he's not going to know. He's going to be on his phone. But so that.
I find myself in like relationships, like with men. I tend to be a people pleaser at work and with men.
Me
because,
too.
Like, the relationship that I was in as a rebound, I would call it, after my divorce, like during my separation, like I found myself like people pleasing and just doing whatever he wanted, and never saying no because I just was like, I can't lose this relationship. Oh my God. Like, like it's something like, so I won't go back. Like in my head, it was like desperation, which is so toxic, right?
Yeah.
Like I totally should have put my foot down a million times and I didn't, as to where now the relationship that I'm in, like I find myself not having to people please, which is so nice. Like cause he doesn't even put me in those kind of scenarios. He's a minimalist. He doesn't, want me to buy him anything. He pays for our dinners and our activities. He pays for my kids' activities. Like it's crazy. Well, I mean, it's probably normal. I just never had that.
I'm like, normal?
yeah,
No, these
I
are
know.
not normal
It's
things
so
for
crazy,
us.
like,
Yes.
that I, but I just don't know what that looks like. You know what I mean? So I just find that it's nice, like, and it's helped me to just, like blossom into a person that I never even thought was inside of me. You know what I mean? Like I felt like it was so hardened for so long and became so unemotional or maybe too emotional probably. Just because I had went without for so long and had, I tend to people please whenever like, cause I'm human, right? So I go through periods of time where I don't want strife, right? So like in my marriage, I would go months, like maybe not having sex or not getting an affection. And I would just, sit there and talk to myself and be like, okay, like you're just going to have to deal with this and this is your life and you're just going to have to put up with this for the rest of your
Yeah.
life. So I go long periods of time, let's say in my marriage, and like with no sex or no affection. And I would just I would call that people pleasing, because I might go 6 months and not say a word, but then like something would happen and then I would speak up for myself. You know what I mean? And it wasn't.
And then you got to deal with this whole
and then it's because I knew
whole
it was
week
gonna,
of
I knew it was going to be some horrible World War 52. You know what I mean? Just because I spoke up for myself, and I just would dread those moments.
dreading.
Yeah. So it's like you just are conditioned to people please when you're in an abusive relationship, unfortunately. And so I just don't. I don't want. There can be negatives to people pleasing. I won't say it's all like roses and sunshine.
Give us an example of how you people please at work.
People pleasing at work, I would say like with my employees, like sometimes, I'll have an employee come to me and I just, depending on what's going on or what fire I'm having to put out for that day, maybe I don't want to deal with it and I'll just be like, whatever. But sometimes I'll stick my ground, so I do people please sometimes depending on to be honest, how I'm feeling that day. So maybe it's just like the same thing. Like if I don't want strife and I feel like it's going to cause an issue,
it can ebb and flow.
Right. And I just don't want to deal. I'll be like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Like say someone wants off and we already have 3 people off that day and you shouldn't have came to me, but I try to always say yes, because I don't want to, I know things are important to people. You know what I mean? And my staff is pretty good I have most of my staff, I would say, are pretty good. I do have a couple that will try to take advantage of off time or whatever. And there are a few times, right, that I've said no, and it just is what it is. But for the most part, 99% of the time when it comes to people asking me off, they know they have to come to me if there's a calendar, and if there's, more than 2 people out, they have to come ask me, and get special permission. But there's other times where maybe somebody has went to quit and they send me this long email and you can tell that the email is worded to where they were wanting you to beg them back or beg them to stay. And I'm just like, okay, pack your stuff and go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's not people pleasing. That's just
for me. Like when I was younger, I mean, you would not have liked me. I mean, I was a yes, like whatever anybody else wanted. Yes, anything anybody else wanted, like I would do that. Like, cause that was how like bad my people pleasing was, just from probably, I guess, trauma, my life. But, as you get older, or I think business has a lot to do with it too. Like, yes, counseling helped me a ton, but business helped me in relationships in my life. Like, because business don't play when you're building a business. Like, you want to go through hard knocks of life, like go build a business and you will come out completely different. Yeah. Because I would have girls, I mean, I hired my family, I hired sisters, I hired friends, or I feel like I was like buying my friends, because I was like giving them everything they wanted, taking them to dinners, trying to keep them happy that way. So I completely like can understand, because I just wanted them to be happy and don't leave and whatever. So I would like treat them all the time. I was buying lunches every single day, like, and then you finally get to a point where you're like, oh my goodness, like it's never enough, because you are going to attract, when you're a people pleaser, you're going to attract like leeches, you know what I mean? So they gravitate towards you because they're me people, you know what I mean? So it's like, what can I get from this person? Like unfortunately, you will attract those people. And as you get better with your boundaries as a people pleaser and you start saying no, you'll see those people just kind of falling off. And it's hard at first whenever that happens, because then you're like, no, I should just go back to like people pleasing again. But you don't want those people, you know what I mean? You want to attract the people like I have in my life today, that they don't want anything from me. Right. My whole team before, I felt like they wanted something from me. It was always, so unbalanced, where my team now, like they gave me so much grace through the last like year or two, like they don't ask me for anything. If they ask me for lunch, they're Venmoing me. You know what I mean? Like it's just like completely like a whole different ball game with these girls. But also when I did hire this team, I was completely different. Mm-hmm. I set those boundaries. Like, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to go have a drink with them. I'm not going to, I wanted to like keep it very professional for years. And now we can go out and have a drink and stuff because I trust them and everything. But I mean, it's just interesting what you learn through business, like as a woman, and how it changes and evolves through the years. Because I don't know, especially being a people pleaser.
I think the abandonment issues in my life, growing up and having a lot of people die throughout my life, that kind of trauma, it causes people pleasing because I tend to, same thing with friends, and you can get the wrong friends in your life, right? That will use you for a dinner or going out, and then you do kind things and do their whole baby shower or whatever. And then when things go south, they want to throw that well, you just do things and you think it's with stipulations, and that's not true. You were just the wrong person in my life, and you used me because now you're throwing it in my face.
Yeah,
that I did this or I did that. I had no stipulations. I wouldn't have done your baby shower.
That's one thing about you is if you're doing something, you are a gift giver, or you're a giver to your core. And I love that about you, but that's also why you are so blessed in your life, because you are such a giver. I tell you that all the time. If anybody deserves it, you deserve it. And I think because you do these things all the time, that's why you freaking win jackpots and win the lottery.
About that.
I mean, I just feel like that's another freaking quote that I say all the time. Well, I don't say it all the time. Gabriel says it all the time, and it sticks with me. You get what you give.
Yeah.
And he says that to our kids every single day. He says that to me. He says it to our adult kids. He says it to friends. I hear him say that all the time. You get what you give. If you're going to give me attitude, you might get attitude back. If you're not going to help out around here, why am I going to do what you say when you want it? To the kids, you know what I mean? You get what you give. And it's so true. That has really stuck with me, with my people pleasing stuff, because there's certain times where somebody will make me feel bad because I haven't went to see them, a family member or something, because it's a couple hours away, and he'll say, well, you get what you give. How many times have they came to see you? Right. You know what I mean? And it's that just sticks in my head all the time now, because I'm okay, well, have they, called me, or have they drove to see, the 2-hour drive to see me? I drive over there, quite often. So I think that you should always remember something like that whenever you are struggling with people pleasing. Because I say this to people all the time, that when they're struggling too, Brylan, I mean, he struggles sometimes whenever his dad is making him feel guilty for not coming to see him. I'm he's literally never been to your apartment one time. You get what you get. And he'll say, you're right. He's never came to see one apartment of mine in 5 years, right. 3 or 4 different apartments. He's never came to see it one time, but they give you a hard time if you haven't came in a month or whatever. How is that right. How is that valid?
You know what else is so sad? And, I always come up what's wrong?
You know what's sad?
I know, but I just thought about it.
Don't
you I just wish people wouldn't hit you up out of the blues with the intent of wanting something.
Girl.
Oh my gosh.
Can y'all please stop?
Can you say that one more time?
Stop doing
for the
that.
people in the back.
Yeah, say that again.
Don't just hit people up knowing you're about to ask them something hey, how are you? How is it going? Can you
Yeah.
Girl, I had that happen last week. I don't even think I told y'all. I'm not kidding. So whatever post it was, and then I had this Facebook inbox, and it was a guy from high school. And he was sent me an inbox. He's Megan, I didn't even know you divorced. And oh my goodness. And he acted like he really cared. Right. And I was thinking,
that's nice.
He's oh,
Then he hit you with the what? What was it?
Then he was I'm kind of going through the same thing. Can you talk? And I was sure. Just felt okay, maybe I need to pour into them or whatever. I felt okay, whatever. Right.
I can't wait to hear this.
Girl, go through, talk. I say some things that, went south, and he's talking and strife. And then he hits me with, do you think that I could borrow money from you next month and pay you back? And I said, no, I'm not a bank. And I hung up.
Did you hang up on him, or did you?
Yeah.
Or did you finish this conversation?
No,
I need to know. Did you say I'm not a bank and you hung up?
Yeah.
Oh my! Did he call back?
No.
Who does that?
Girl. Obviously people from Oklahoma.
I actually got a text a few months back, and it said, hi, how are you? Wanted to see if I could borrow $3,500 for my divorce. And I'm thinking, I don't even have your name saved in my phone. It was just showing up as a number. Well, I figured out who it was, and it was a family member, but it was like, if you haven't messaged, I wanted to message back.
Like, are you sending me Christmas messages?
No.
Do you send me a Christmas card?
I wanted to message back. Oh yeah, I'm going through mine too. I'm still paying off my attorney too.
Yeah.
I mean,
you tell them, say, hey, you can Google the paperwork online and file it for free.
I was just like
pay the filing
appalled
fees
because I'm like,
yourself.
if you knew who you were texting, which you know, I've had the crappiest couple of years. Like, hi, how have you been?
Yeah.
Anything? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't
just
even
hit you.
reply back.
Unfortunately, we live in a world that's so selfish.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's so selfish. There's people I have to block on my social media because I'm literally every story, every post, I get a message that they're struggling. Can I send them money? And, I love helping people out. But Trent has actually told me, like, you kind of have to watch out who you help out because
They'll just keep coming
they'll
back.
keep coming back. And, but yeah.
You can do it different ways. Like you could,
I love blessing people.
Well, yeah, but like I do, like for years I did like random blessings. So like, especially around this time of the year, like if I'm at Kohl's or something and I see like one year I saw a lady like in a wheelchair and she had like a roll, like the small roll of Christmas paper. And I'm thinking, is that even going to wrap like one present, and like you could tell it was like things and they were gifts, And maybe it's $50 or $60. Or if I'm at the grocery store and you see it's like bare necessities, like milk, eggs, bread, diapers, formula.
Yeah.
And you see they're struggling, like I'll just go swipe my card for them. Like you can do it that way. But my worst pet peeve is for people to don't put me on the spot and don't ask me for money.
Yeah.
Don't I can't, and especially not out of the blue. Like you haven't talked to me in years and you want to ask me for money. Like, hell no. Like, don't do it.
Don't. It's like, think of any other way. Like, go sell some things.
And
or
if I
like,
do something nice, like if I did something nice out of the kindness of my heart, don't you freaking throw that in my face later and tell me I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
So you can go fuck off for that. How about that?
Oh.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Because I can't stand that. Like I am a people pleaser. I am a people pleaser.
throw
But
that
at
whole
the
thing
same
in there.
time, like for real, like if you take advantage of my kindness
Yeah.
and then try to throw it in my face like there was something wrong with me for
Like
being
you had an
nice.
ulterior
yeah, like
motive.
like you know what? That's your own insecurities.
Yeah.
I would rather
It's so hard for me to ask for help for anything. Like I will be like literally drowning, in where were we when I was drowning?
Yeah, and
I will still be like, you don't have to help me.
I dove in. Have we
And
talked
like-
about this? We haven't talked about this, girl. We were in Destin.
I got stuck in a riptide
Yeah, she was
when they were talking about riptides.
Yeah,
my
so
God,
here's
you-
the deal.
remember Tristan.
Me and her, you've
Yeah.
been with us where we always like to jump
Jump
off
off the
the
boat.
Well, Gabe had put the boat like in the middle of traffic. And
Well, it was we were on our way back, and the
Yeah,
kids really wanted to jump off the
Yeah, and I
top
just-
of the pontoon boat.
I just didn't have a good feeling. Like I just didn't feel good about it.
Bad weather was rolling in.
Yeah, and it was dark, and I was
afraid to
like, the
ask
water was like not clear. It was like looked like the abyss, like this black.
Yeah, because
And
it's
her,
choppy.
Taryn, Brylan,
Max.
they all go. At first, they go and act like they're just gonna jump over the rail, and I'm like, no, stop, cancel, because I'm gonna film them, right? And I'm like, no, like you have to go over that. If you go and run and jump at it, if you clip your foot, you could flip,
Or slide.
hit your head. Like you're going to the bottom. You're gonna sink if that happens. So I'm like, no, you need to go like to the edge and just jump off. Like we're not gonna run. And jump
I can't
over the
believe we're talking
barrier.
about this because then Gabe's
Girl.
gonna bring it back up again when he
No, I'm
listens
gonna
to
bring it
this.
up.
Gabriel,
So she goes and
if you're
jumps in.
watching, if you're looking at me right now, I don't want to hear about my scrunchie or my sunglasses. I don't want to hear
Hold
it.
on, let me tell what happened so they understand.
Okay.
So you jump in, the boys jump in, the boys get back
We
to the
jump
boat.
different directions, okay? Like the bigger boys jump like towards the front of the boat. I jumped on the side of the boat,
Yeah.
right? Like right in a riptide, apparently. And Brylan was struggling, and they're strong. I mean, he's 6 foot, big guy, works out every single day, and he was struggling getting back out of it and eventually got on. I'm just stuck in one. And I'm like,
I shouldn't laugh. I'm laughing
I'm
with
like
you.
swimming.
And you have Gabe yelling.
Swimming.
No.
Swimming.
You have Gabe
swimming.
driving
Look,
the
and I'm
boat,
not
and
going
he's going,
anywhere.
Get in the boat! Get in the boat!
He's screaming at
And I
me.
finally throw my phone down, take my
And me,
towel off.
People pleasing ass, like too nice, can't ask. I will literally drown. I'm like, no, I'm fine.
I jumped in after a girl. I had to jump in
I'm
after
like,
her.
please don't jump in because then we're both going to drown. And all of our kids are on the boat.
So I get out there, and you know what she tells me? She's like, I'm swimming. I'm like, baby, I know you're swimming, but I need you to hold on to my back right now. And
the
she's
water
like, no. So she's like thinking she's going to take me under. I'm like, grab my back. We don't have time to argue about this.
So I'm like swimming, you swim like this. I don't swim like this. I swim like this. And the water's really dark. So you can't see my arms or anything. I'm like hard, like swimming.
With her scrunchie and her
But I
sunglasses
did have
in her
my
hand.
sunglasses in my hand. But I was swimming, okay? But I just could not. I mean, it was so powerful. Like after about like 5 minutes of this and I'm starting to tire out, I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't get close to the boat. And Gabe can't get, like, he's like having to like move the boat like over and over because they just keep like
it was going to like go
too.
further. And the kids
so
are all just staring at her.
They're all everybody's staring at me. Gabe's yelling at me because his anxiety is starting to like spike, but he has to like hold the boat. Like he can't do anything. So everybody, I'm in my anxiety. I'm starting to have a panic attack because everybody's just staring at me and screaming at me like I'm not doing anything, and I'm like I'm just gonna die. But like y'all just go ahead.
She goes,
You were afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
And then when I came to give her
Girl.
help, she didn't want to take it.
I can be.
I was about to whip her ass.
Literally, I can. So literally now we know I can literally be drowning, and I'm still not. That is like one of
There
my.
are two types of people in
That
this
is
world.
one of my major faults is I cannot ask for help. And that is one thing that I'm learning in this relationship is like, he's like, are we in this together? Or are we not? Like, ask me for help. Like, I'll do anything. Do you want me to drop him off? Like, what do you need to do? But I'll be like, I got it. That's also a survival mechanism of your, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I get talked to in counseling about these things all the time. You would think it will register one day.
She's like, I am swimming. I said, baby, I know you're swimming, but we got to go.
Thank the Lord. Megan is 6 foot tall because she stretched. She held onto the ladder and then she put her feet towards me. It was like pretty much 6 feet. I grabbed her foot and like finally like was able to get out of that riptide. But that was like one of the scariest things ever.
This is why I do not jump off a boat. Y'all know that. These girls were literally jumping off a 2-3 story boat.
We do it everywhere we go.
But that was clear water too. And
I
you could
know.
see the
It's
bottom.
also like our thing. Like every country we go to or
I
whatever.
don't trust the waters. I
We
don't.
have
And I can
videos
swim,
but
I know it's more powerful than me. And nor do I want to swim. I will jump.
Gabe's like, you're never
the life
jumping
vest.
off a boat again. I'm like,
yeah, we will.
listen.
with the life vest.
No.
I'm not wearing a
You're
life
not supposed
vest.
to jump in. You know, you're not supposed to jump in, especially off a cliff with the life vest because it can come up and break your neck. So
Well,
don't ever do that.
I won't be jumping off. I'll
Well,
just
don't you ever do it
slowly,
with, if you do decide, don't you ever do it with a life jacket.
Oh
That's
my
how people
gosh.
break
It's like
their
one of my
necks.
favorite things to do. Like I love like anything adventure wise. So I was like, by the way,
That's why y'all are like.
By the way,
so perfect for.
Gabriel, you
I'm the
cannot
safe
tell
one.
me not to do something. I will definitely do it. Like you can't say I can never jump off a boat. Then I'm going to be like,
Yeah, until you jump off a boat, you're always going to be a square from Delaware with me.
square from
I
Delaware.
ain't jumping my Nope.
I'm trying to think. Did you not ever jump
No.
with us? I thought you did once. No.
I took your photo and I put a life vest on and then I went down the stairs
Oh,
and then
okay.
I joined you.
Okay.
And what did I do? I laid on the little flat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Like
That is true.
I remember when we were in St. Lucia and Tristan, we were just snorkeling and all the other kids, the older kids didn't want to wear life vests while we were snorkeling. I'm like, Tristan, put on a life vest. Like, come on. I'm putting on a life vest because I don't want to do the work. And so what did he do? He borrowed my life vest while I was I'm like, really? Luckily, Trent threw me a noodle.
Not a noodle.
So I was like,
One of the funniest stories that I probably have of my ex was we were in Hawaii. He did not like to snorkel. And literally, I'm like, we're snorkeling. I'm like, I've paid for this. Like, you're going to get in the water.
Oh,
and so
no.
I was like, put my foot down. And so he literally
Put my foot down.
He literally had a life jacket. And they threw
A noodle?
No, worse. Like a mat, like a swim mat. And he was like the whole time he'd like put his face down in the water and he didn't like the goggles on his face. So he'd take them off and he'd go. So like he did that like 10 times. I finally go, you want to get in the boat? Yes, I hate this. I literally never
Don't
laughed.
blame him because that's me.
I laughed so hard in all my life. It was so
Our first time in
I
Mexico.
have so much I can say, and I'm not going to. I have so much I can say, and I'm going to.
Our first time in Mexico, Trent paid for us to go scuba diving.
Oh.
And my biggest thing was,
yeah.
like, we were practicing.
Did you
in
go
the-
scuba?
We were practicing
Did you
in the
people
pool.
please?
Yeah, I was
You
trying to
people-
people please them. You know, I was like, okay,
Trying
he
to people
spent
please.
$250 on this. I can't make this money, go to waste, like, because he's always wanted to do that. But we had to practice in the pool. And y'all already know, I can't breathe out of my mouth. I can't. And so that's where I struggled the most. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. And he knew I was struggling. And I was like, Trent? And also, I had a mojito before we
not
got on the
supposed to drink
No,
before.
the guy was so mad at me. And so I said, Trent, I will do this, but I have one request. I do not want to be the first person in the water because I have to be there by myself. And what happened? I was the first one in the water. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, doo-doo-doo. And it's one by one. I'm going and holding
You have to go down the road.
And
You have
then
to all
I
go in a
looked-
line down the road.
Oh my God.
You never scuba dive?
No.
Remember
There
we
was so
snubbed.
many fish there and I was by myself and it felt like I was down there for 10 minutes. It was probably only like 30 seconds. And here Trent sees me going on up. I ain't doing this. I'm done. Like, nope.
So did you have to, like, where you went up, everybody goes up at first? Like, because that's what happened to me.
What?
If you decide to quit, everybody has to go up?
No. Luckily, it was two couples there and both of us couldn't do it.
Oh.
So, not unfortunately, the two people
Fortunately.
that went down were the ones that had asthma. So Trent's tank ran out. So you know that you have to practice taking out the scuba gear and taking.
Girl, I never scuba.
You got to blow it. Like, you got to, like...
So his tank ran out, and he had to use the instructor's tank. I'm like, see, and opening your mouth in the water without swallowing water. How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah,
I don't know.
no, he knows. Never again.
I'm not sure it's on my bucket list.
Hey, you
I don't
tried
know.
it.
Maybe. If I do it with your sister and her
Oh,
husband,
yeah, it'd
maybe.
be blast.
What if we did the ones that's like a scooter with
We
the
did
little
a
astronaut?
snuba. We did that.
Is
Me
that
and her
scary?
did
No,
that.
we
in
didn't do
Turks and
that.
We did snuba.
We did
Turks
where
and
we're
Caicos.
attached to, like, up
Like-
at the top.
Yeah.
Like,
But
we had a hose.
I couldn't look back. Every time I looked back, I thought I was going to die. Like, my anxiety. I don't know if you could do it because of our anxiety. Like, because
Yeah.
my anxiety was on 1,000.
Yeah, mine was too, and I don't even have it mainly.
I kept going. I kept telling the instructor, I'm like, can you make my weight belt heavier? Because it's like, I need to just sink. Just sink me to the bottom.
She kept adding weight.
I was like, I can't figure out my
She's
lungs
like,
to make myself
I'm
sink.
too buoyant.
Yeah. I was like, I just float. No more people pleasing for us.
No more people pleasing. You get
Nope.
what you give.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on.
I'm done.
I know.
About to do this to everybody.
I love it. I love it. The more that I do that, the better I'm like, wow.
I think you just have to be secure, and that's what I like.
I think
I
it
have
comes
my
with
own secures
maturity, though.
Too, but you do just have to. I have to learn to like tell myself honestly, like, hey, I'm not going to change who I am just because you're insecure.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to change my kind heart. I'm not going to change my giving heart because that's what makes me happy. And if that's what makes me happy, like if you think there's ulterior motives,
That's your authentic self, though.
yeah,
You don't
like,
ever
move
want
on-
to change
move
that.
on, yeah, like move on out the way.
If they love you, they have to love everything about
That's
you.
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about
I have a confession to make for you guys.
Oh?
So, and I feel really bad because I feel like I was trying to please y'all. But I didn't want to tell you guys, but I've been struggling the past few weeks.
Oh, why?
Hi.
Just because I feel like this podcast, I love being with you guys. I love talking to you guys. And I just feel like I was doing it. I mean, I love doing it, but I was also, I feel like I would fail you guys if I didn't continue.
Yeah.
And I never wanted you guys to feel like that, but I have been struggling lately. Like, I just feel like my creativity has been just draining. And I don't know, I mean, are you guys, well, you're a creative. And I just feel like sometimes when I do too much of it, I can't focus on other things. And so.
Well, this is what you warned us about
know.
12 months ago when we started.
This is what you warned us about when we started. So go ahead and say it for the people.
Know. And I
Say
feel
it
bad
louder
because
for the
this
people in
was
the back.
my idea.
It was your idea.
It was my idea. And you know, and I want to apologize because I'm pleasing you. But I have to take a break.
Yeah.
Mentally, because I just feel like there's other things I kind of want to grow within my career, within my business, and I need to fully focus on that. And it wouldn't be fair to you guys if I just came into this podcast as just a task. You know what I mean?
So she's leaving, guys.
She's leaving
I'm
us.
taking a break. I'm not leaving.
She's leaving us.
She's leaving us.
She's leaving us.
I'm not.
That's her
leaving-
people pleasing, saying she's
Yeah.
taking a break.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a break. And then if you guys will have me when I'm ready, just open your arms.
Open your arms.
But, you know, I my goal was I wanted to give this at least a year. And we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. And y'all are going to keep going.
Yeah. We are.
And then I will be just crawling back. Like, I'm ready.
Don't be waiting until we go viral and make a bunch of money, because I don't know if I'll remember what your name is after that. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But yeah.
Just kidding.
We get it.
You always have to do what's best for you.
And
so.
I really love that you
I
guys
am disappointed.
Me
I
too.
love that you guys
But that's
are,
okay.
you know, supportive of it and not, you know.
Well, you got to do you, what's best
Yeah.
for you. You know what I mean? Like, I thrive being super busy. Like,
Yeah, same.
and I don't take breaks, or, I mean, that's just, I thrive like that. And some people don't. So
Same.
I don't know. You know, you always have to do what is best for you if you feel overwhelmed or if you feel like you're being drained or whatever. Like, only you know that.
Yeah.
And you should never people please, like, to think.
And it's not
like,
about being around you. I love being
No,
around
but
y'all.
you should
but it's
never
just
people please to think that, like, it is what it is. Because true friends, like, we have a friendship
Yeah.
outside of this podcast
Oh,
and
of course.
business and you know, like, but we have this podcast and it started out because of our friendships, right? And I think our friendships have grown over the last year. And that's not going to change. You know what I mean? A true
Yeah.
friend's always going to support you through the good and the bad. And I mean, just as much as, like, we understand that, you understand that me and Carrie are going to go forward. You know, like,
Yeah.
we've committed
And
to
I-
it and
yeah.
we're not ready to stop. So
Yeah. I'm
And
excited.
sometimes I'll be like, oh, when are y'all recording? Maybe I could just come and hang out with you guys
Yeah,
and watch.
for sure.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
know?
Both show. I mean, I got
shizzle.
like, I like feel super inspired by the podcast. I have like a million ideas that I want to still have never came to fruition. So I'm like super excited about it, because we said like we would take the whole year to work out kinks and we weren't going to monetize and things like that. So I feel like going into the second year, like those are all possibilities. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's been a great outlet for me for sure. Like, for the last year, especially, it was a rough year. Like, I've had a lot of bad years in my life, you know, like with tragedy and infertility and now a divorce and all the things. And this helped me, like, it gave me some hope and it gave me something to hold on to. And so I appreciate that from you guys. 'Cause
I'm
I
proud
mean,
of
like,
you.
Of course you were there for me, like, as my friends, but this podcast and the feedback that we got from people of how we've helped them and what they've learned, you know, that is inspiring enough. Like, we started 12 months ago saying if we could help one woman, and I know we've helped a lot more, including some men, because we've had some men.
I
give
know,
us
that was
feedback
the
too. I
interesting
know
part.
that
Mine
was
is the one wanted to
interesting.
see our feet.
And you still can't see our feet. Kidding.
Yeah.
This makes me so sad, but I'm so proud of you guys.
Oh, we're proud of
I
you.
love
want you
doing
guys to-
it with
yeah.
you. Yes.
Yeah,
I
mean, it's
value
been
our
like, I
friendship.
wouldn't, yeah, for sure. Like, I wouldn't change.
And
our
y'all aren't
path.
getting rid of me. I'll still be like knocking up at your door. Like, I'm
Yeah.
still here.
Maria, we know you ain't knocking at nobody's door. You're not leaving your house. So we
not
know
with
you
your
ain't
little-
coming to prosper.
Your
We
happy
know.
space.
In your bubble.
In my bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Well,
Like all the
thank you
things.
so much for listening. Follow us on all of our socials, Inspired by Carrie.
Mrs. Maria Shelton.
Megs Unfiltered.
Bye.